Zack Snyder's Justice League tells the story of Steppenwolf as he heads to Earth, finally comes to Earth after the death of the Superman woke the mother boxes, as he goes to Earth to find the 3 mother boxes that were left by Darkseid after the Darkseid War all those years ago, and wants to use it to combine the unity and scorch the world in the name of Darkseid. But Bruce puts together a team to help save the world from Darkseid. And after watching this version of Justice League, I can honestly say, #restore the Snyderverse. So let's get into this movie actually. So yes, this movie is 4 hours, and those 4 hours actually went by really quick. And I can honestly say that I can never go back to that crap fest that we called Justice League in 2017 by Joss Whedon. Because, yes, it's the same story as the first, I shouldn't say first movie, but it is the one we got in 2017. But it's such a different movie. I actually cared about the characters. This movie actually made me cry, not gonna lie. Because all the characters in this movie, you feel for them. You actually feel them come together. Like, you feel like they're an actual team that you actually root for to win. In the 2017 one, you didn't give a crap about these characters because it was rushed character development, no character development for Cyborg. All his scenes were cut, man. And they should have done that. His scenes were easily some of the best things you can watch in this movie. His scenes were absolute beautiful. And they should have been at least kept most of them in the 2017 version. Aquaman's character. I liked his character in this movie. He actually did more than what he did in the last movie. And I actually enjoyed Flash for once. Except for maybe the Iris West scene. We'll get into that later. But Ben Affleck, oh my god, I loved him in Batman v Superman. I'm going to say this. I love Batman v Superman. I'm not afraid to say that. And I loved Ben Affleck as Batman in that movie. And then when I saw the 2017 one, my heart was broken because Ben Affleck, God, he was not good in that movie, but that's not even his fault. And so when I watched this movie, the Snyder's version, I loved Batman again. I loved his Batman again. Like, his Batman is the Batman we had in the Batman v Superman. And Wonder Woman's character, it feels like Wonder Woman from the Wonder Woman movie and from Batman v Superman. Not the crap we have in 2017. That character didn't feel like Wonder Woman. It didn't feel like her character. And let's get into Barry for a second. Barry, his jokes are not the greatest, but I got a laugh at a couple of them, and he's a much better character this time. He's a much well-built character, along with everyone on this team. And Superman, who's not as much in this movie, but still in this movie, he's a good character. And he doesn't just show up and win the fight immediately, because they still lose in the end. And I like how they still lose, even with Superman on their side. And this later in the movie, but I'd say I am sorry, Jared Leto. You can actually be a good Joker after I saw the nightmare scene at the end of this movie. He was a great Joker. He didn't do that bad of a job. He was really good. And I would like to see more of him in Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad, which I hope does get released. I'm kind of curious on what he had planned for his Suicide Squad movie. And Steppenwolf as a character and villain was such an improvement. He's actually a good villain. He's a good character. I understood his motivation. He wants to please Darkseid enough so he can just go home after betraying Darkseid and still have to give him 50,000 more worlds before he can even go home. Like, you'll feel for Steppenwolf. There's memes all over the internet that feel for Steppenwolf. And the Amazon fight scene showed just how much of a beast this version of Steppenwolf is. With his armor that moves, with his emotions, which was a really awesome idea, I will say. And then him just slaughtering Amazon after Amazon. Like, God, you can't stop this guy. You need the Justice League to finish this guy once and for all. And let's get into it. Darkseid. Oh my God, I'm such a big fan of Darkseid. He's easily my favorite DC supervillain next to Joker. Also, you can't, I don't know if you can see this, but kind of wearing my Steppenwolf t-shirt right now. I got two Darkseid ones too, and Darkseid scared me in this movie. I will say, Darkseid absolutely terrified me with how little he was in this movie. And we know his motivation if you read the comics. He wants to go after the anti-life equation. And yeah, he doesn't get it, obviously, and nearly dies in the war scene that we see. And this whole movie actually feels like a completed movie, unlike that Frankenstein abomination called Justice League in 2017. The acting was great. The CGI was also good for once. Everything about this movie was a huge improvement, and I am such a huge fan of what Zack was doing. You could understand like what he had planned, and I loved where he was taking things. And I really wish Warner Brothers would get their heads straight and just restore the Snyderverse. They just screwed all this up after one movie failed. You guys made Suicide Squad fail. You guys made Justice League fail. All of this mess that you call a DC Extended Universe, that is on you guys. Over one movie that didn't do so well. That's not a good way to make your universe. Not at all. And everything else that Snyder did in this movie was absolutely great. Especially that team. My favorite shot in this movie was definitely that team-up shot where they're all together. And yes, it does end on a cliffhanger, and it really wants me to see Justice League 2 and 3 and what Snyder had envisioned of this universe. I also want to see the Batfleck movie. I want to see the Flash movie that Snyder had planned that Louis went through development hell. The movie we're going to get maybe in, I believe, 2022, it's not the movie Snyder had planned for his universe, which really sucks for the guy. They were also messing up his movie during production when it was still being filmed. Now let's get into it. Martian Manhunter, I was so happy when I saw him in this movie because the Justice League animated series introduced me to the character. I loved his character in that show. I loved his character in this because I grew up with Justice League as a kid. I grew up with DC Comics more as a kid. So when I saw this movie, it was pretty much a love letter to me. And I am so happy I finally got to see what Zack had envisioned. And I hope we do get to see the Snyderverse in the future. So, I just should give this movie a rating. I give it 5 stars out of 5. So, once again, guys, I'm trying to get my Summer Godzilla videos out there. I'm doing my best, so let's be a little patient with me, okay? I have a lot on my plate lately. But until then, guys, I'll see you in the next video.